I'm Matt Braunger. This might help.
I am not a doctor.
This might help.
I'm not a professional.
Let's have fun. This honestly is a good time.
Honestly, I got no idea what I'm doing. What's going on? Who are you?
I'm Matt Braunger. This might help. The podcast. Hey, welcome to This Might Help with Matt Braunger, the advice podcast that's just for fun. We might help, might not. I don't know. But if you need clinical help, this is not your place. This is your place for fun. I have a very special guest on today, speaking of for fun, who I'm not only a fan of, I'm friends with. And she has always been a real peach of a person and just a killer on stage. Jackie Kashian is
Thanks.
here.
I feel welcome.
Good. How are you feeling? I know you have a new special out.
I do have a new special out, and it's good. The promotion feels excessive, but I'm on board. So
it always
sure.
does for us journey persons. You know, it is always a thing where we have this core group of fans, but it's not the thing where you can just, you know, like the extreme would be, say, Beyonce, where she can just drop an album and there was no warning.
And nobody mentions it.
The
but
world is
millions.
left to scramble. Yeah. She does no interviews. I think that is, as an artist, loosely using the term for me, I think it's so great when anyone who just does creative stuff can just make people scramble. I love it so much.
Yeah.
And not even in a shitty way. Like, I wish I could do that. I really don't want to be that insanely big. But
no. I want to go to lunch, man.
I would like, yes.
Yeah.
It would be cool though if you had that thing where it's just like, there's so much heat that you just do the special, and then you kind of you post about it to your you know what, like
1.6 million followers.
Right. And you're done.
Yeah.
You're done. You can do a fun profile in like Vanity Fair or something, but
you can work on new jokes.
Yeah, you can have free time.
I mean, the terrible thing about that is that everybody knows your jokes when you're that big of a deal.
Right.
And there is a new thing now where people do like to re-listen to jokes. Like when I go, when I'm on the road, people will be like, "Oh, are you going to tell that joke?" And I was like, "I don't remember that joke. You should totally buy that album." And
you just poured me a steaming hot cup of spiritual cocoa, because that is, I've had that throughout, because I have a lot of stuff that's kind of story based.
Yeah.
And like, I brought my friend just to hear the bit about, and it's like, I don't know how it goes.
Right.
I could barely do karaoke if I saw the words on a screen.
Right.
I had or whatnot. It's like, no. I don't.
No, that's from 97. That's from 2003. I don't know what I love you dearly, but I can't remember that bit. And
I also was really feeling my oats once at a college, Ball State. And they put me in the big room, which was like a 5,000 seater, maybe an eighth full or something. But
what are you UB40 at Madison Square Garden? Anyway.
Yes, in 2005, right? But I had a nice hour, and I it came to me that like Brian Regan and a couple other people had been doing a thing at the end where, because Regan does that, where he's like, "Is there anything you haven't heard? I'll do it." And because he can reel them off. And I was like, anything I haven't done, like I was like, let me try it. Not a peep. And I was like, whoa, I'm not that famous. And it got a huge laugh. And I was like, okay, I pulled it out.
Yeah.
But it's like, I don't think I'll ever do that again the rest of my life. Ever.
I think Brian did it for the reason, you remember when Chappelle, they wouldn't stop yelling for him to do characters and stuff from the show.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I think Brian was getting some of that. So he was like, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to work on my hour, the one that I want to do.
Yeah.
I'm going to go away, come back, spend 5 or 10 minutes doing, if you yell out a bit, then he trained him to wait.
Good for him.
And
incredible.
It's so great because you watch him do it and you're like, oh, he has the best kind of all things, of all worlds, where he can go to dinner and he, but he does fill an 11,000 seat, stadium or Carnegie Hall. I got to open for him in Carnegie Hall.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. It's not made for stand-up, Matt.
No, I know.
No, it's made for opera. So you're just spending your whole time just holding a mic going, you want to hear my Dune joke in the fourth tier? Anyone?
Yeah.
Anybody up there?
Anybody? Yeah. Yeah, that's one of the silly drawbacks of being that big is you play rooms that are anti-comedy.
Right. We did comedy. I opened for him. We did comedy of the round. That's dumb.
Oh,
I was like, you guys are going to get the setup. These people punchline, and then I'll swap it.
Yes, I did a festival in DC, 10 or 11 years ago, and they had us in the round in this not a really big room, and I hated it so much. And I just constantly turn. I just don't know. I don't know who do I play to.
Right.
Because you already do that on stage.
Yeah.
You already go, oh wait, I've been neglecting looking over here.
Yeah. These people would like to see me tell a joke at some point too. Yeah. So I work the room like debate class in high school. I'll do it. Sure.
100%. Yeah. Yeah. It's that is fantastic. I think who else? Like Gaffigan can go out to eat with his family for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Though he is more distinctive looking, I think.
That's true.
There are some people like he's so, I don't know, like Brian is good looking in a sort of a regular features kind of way.
Sure.
Gaffigan has a weird coloring that makes him noticeable. So you look at him twice, even if you don't know him. And then you're like, no, I think that's Jim Gaffigan.
I know him, but
I have that face thing. So if I can recognize you, you're a little weird looking.
Yeah. Yeah. There's something to be said for not being very unique.
Right. I look like everybody's favorite aunt. Not going to lie to you, but
I've been saying for a long time, my level of fame is people can't tell if they saw me in something or if I went to high school with them. Because I did have a guy who stopped me in a mall and was like, oh, class of whatever year you said. And I was like, that's not me, man. It's not. Right. I'm not that guy,
Bamford's doing a joke about how her mom would always insist. She's like, we know each other. And they're like, no. I was like, I'm going to say two words to you. The twirling whale. Or it was like the name of some motel. And the person goes, no, we don't know each other.
Please let me go.
Yeah.
Please stop. Have you had that where people are kind of like, what have I seen you in? And you have to reel off a bunch of stuff and then none of it is right. And they go, no, keep going.
Right. And I get a lot. There's so many. It's never flattering. I don't know why.
Sure.
But it's always you look like this person or that person. It's never. And it's fine. You could just say you were great. You don't have to say you remind me of my grandmother or your aunt or Sally Jesse Raphael. Is the
who you're just like this person that is in my life that has no influence or anything in yours. So listen to this guy. You wouldn't believe it. Okay, he's your height. You should
meet him. It'd be like looking in a mirror.
Nope.
No, I don't want to.
Don't ever want to. I don't know why this makes me think of this, but it is always funny to me when any of us express some kind of opinion online and people go, and you are? I've never heard of you. That's such that hurts. Wow.
Yeah. Guess what? Everybody's got an opinion. They, I believe, traditionally are compared to assholes. And everybody's got them. And comics, holy smokes. My favorite thing is to be asked an opinion about something I don't have enough information about.
Oh, the best.
I'm like, let me tell you my gut reaction to that. Really? It's the political situation in the old Soviet Union. Oh. Why would you think you have a gut reaction to that?
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
You know who I don't like? That's a good one too. Like they stop you after a show. I don't understand why this comic has any career. And it's typically someone I know or are at least kind of friendly with, because
you're so much better than. Please never say that to me.
Please never. Yeah.
Right.
I had a comic who I used to open for who I love her and she's great, and I won't say who it is, but because this person said that to me and she cornered me and she held my face and I was like, first off, don't touch me.
No touching.
You feel licensed because you're a woman and I'm a man and you think it's okay.
Yeah.
But that's not okay. You don't get to touch anyone. So don't. And don't tell me that. Not okay.
They are giving me an amazing opportunity to open for them. I'm opening for them because I admire their work.
Yes.
And because there's only right now 2 people I do open for. And it's because I think that they're both amazing. And it's Bamford and Regan. Yeah. And you know who wins that situation? Me, both times.
Oh yeah.
All the time.
You're expanding your empire. You're getting people, you're making fans for these people.
It's literally, I get to watch someone who's really, really good at this do it.
Absolutely.
That's
Yeah. It's I would absolutely open for either of those people if they were just like, hey, want to do some time, and like, yeah, totally. I mean, I was on a friend's podcast. It's a friend of mine who plays arenas. And I jokingly was like, let me know when I can come through and do some time. Making fun of someone who asked him, you know, could I open for you? And when he was like, I mean, because he already has someone. And then the guy followed up with, well, how much would that pay me? Like that by the way. So that was my running joke. I'm like, but how would that pay? You know, right. And as I was going, he's like, hey, you ever want to, you know, and I'm just like, if our schedules align, sure. Yeah, totally.
And here's something I would like to get on the public record. If you are filling arenas, if you are filling theaters, if you are selling out giant weekends and you want someone to open for you that is headlining, low headliner money plus air and hotel.
Yep.
Yeah. Pay them fair. Share. You don't have to split the money with them evenly, but you have to, you know, low headliner money is just everybody wants to do it then.
Is this the message? Are you trying to send a message to Regan through the show right now?
Yeah, Brian Regan.
Pay me my money. Literally. You son of a bitch. I mean, I don't want to say anything. Notoriously an asshole. You know him and I know.
Him and Bamford both, Bamford ridiculously overpaid.
Yeah, she's legendary for
and
that.
Brian is incredibly generous.
Oh yeah, and he's the sweetest guy. And if anyone takes anything real out of what I just said, please throw it in the garbage.
Yeah, don't do that. But I will say that there's part of me that wants to get to that level so that I can share the wealth, that I can be not be a jackass about it, because it's not going to matter to me if I give you $600 for the week instead of $1,200. Yeah, who cares? Oh yeah, I'm making $12,000.
Yeah,
$600 is nothing.
There are TV famous actors, let's just say, I won't say any names, who are on the road now asking for locals to open for them, do 20 minutes a piece, 3 or 4 of them. This guy jumps up on stage and does maybe a half an hour, and I think pays them nothing. And it's kind of getting around now, and it's like I think it might have dried up for him, but it's just like, son of a bitch.
Son of a bitch is right. I would like to quote Laurie Kilmartin right now and say, put it in the chat, Braunger. Put it in the chat.
I will. Yeah, it's like I don't want to throw out any like vibes, anything or whatever. It's just like I just don't care. I don't need the energy in my life. It's Thanksgiving week.
Right. Whatever. I'm enormously grateful for all the things. And
me too. I was thinking about how often I get people who are like, this is my very first comedy show, and their friend who really digs me so much dragged them and they had a good time, where I'm like, that keeps me coasting along. That keeps me good. You know, I definitely have those moments that I hit walls and go, you know, God damn it, nothing's happening, blah, 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 that kind of thing. Or, you know,
plateaus.
Trying to get this idea off the ground. Blah, 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 blah. There's always something new. There's always something new to frustrate you in life. You know, you never run out of that, especially in this business.
But you were on Peggy Carter. You were on.
Yeah.
So as far as I'm concerned, you win.
Well, you know, I will say I beat Kumail to the Marvel Universe. I beat Kumail.
Make a note.
No.
Make a note.
Make a note, Nanjiani. No. I love that. Side note, he is now a movie star. Like
like a full-on movie star.
I love it so much.
It's so great. He nailed it too. I freaking love the Eternals because my husband, and it's always so funny to quote your husband because of the 1950s. But I will say this is that he really nailed it. He said what was the great thing about the Eternals was that it was literally a science fiction story about an outpost of people that were sent to help the indigenous people move forward. And it just happened to be Earth. And so, but it was a great science fiction story, which often is not in comic books. Sometimes, and Marvel does a really good job in mixing it up,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I wish like I do enjoy the superhero stuff. I wish it hadn't eaten the entire market. That's I don't think that's necessarily, I mean, the business is what the business is.
Yeah.
But it is
and it'll pass. I mean, they still made the long shot. Come on, Matt.
That's true. But I mean, did that you mean the Seth Rogen movie?
Yeah.
Like, did that do anything though? Did that make any money? It's
kind
of
like it made money.
Did it? Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
It was just a romantic comedy. It made romantic comedy money.
I dug that movie. I really dug that movie. My wife wasn't that keen to it, but I thought it was so good.
I was irritated by before I saw it. I was like, is this like, did Seth Rogen buy a trophy wife of a movie? And then I saw it.
A little bit.
Well, and then I saw it, and it is well written enough that it rises above that.
Yes. Their relationship finale is achieved really organically.
Yeah. It feels the chemistry feels real. Totally. Like it feels like a super fun friendshipy kind of relationship, and I liked it. Yeah. And I've been on an airplane a lot in the last 10 weeks or so, and I've seen it at least 4 times.
Is that your go-to rewatch?
Cross Country, Long Shot, and Black Widow back to back.
All right. Yeah. I mine for the longest till I had to cut myself off was Creed. I can watch that movie anytime. It's so enjoyable to me. Followed by The Departed, a movie my wife from Boston hates. I don't know why I like it. I just like the elements. I like how it moves. God, I'm trying to think of another one.
I also like Raya.
Which one?
Raya, the animated dragon movie.
Oh yeah. I never saw that one. Okay, I'm gonna next time.
You got a kid? That's a good one. It's on Disney Plus.
A fun one I just saw was Protege, which it's this rando action movie with this kind of female assassin who's kind of like mentor / dad is killed, and so she goes on a rampage. And it has the only famous people in it. Samuel L. Jackson is the dad.
Okay.
And Michael Keaton is a guy who works for like terrible oligarchs and stuff, and he's kind of like a badass himself. But it's so fun. It's like watching watching Odenkirk in Nobody. You see this guy who's like doing these action stunts. It's clearly not him mostly,
right?
But they dress the guy up and they did editing well. But I was watching it going, Michael Keaton's having so much fun in this because he still just is doing Keatonisms that you can tell he made up. Like he gets her out of this holding area where they're trying to make her talk using trying to waterboard her and stuff. And he's like, get her out of here. And he walks past this giant monster of a guy. And he's like, where do you shop? I got a big, tall cousin. He has a hard time. Nothing? Nobody home. And just walks away. And I'm like, there's no way that was in the script.
Right.
He was just like, they're just like, if you want to say some shit, do some Keatonisms.
Yeah. Just to make it your own. Make it your own.
Make it your own. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Have you been like, so now are you working on new stuff opening for these guys? Or
no, I'm because the great thing about the great thing about recording the album is now I only have to do the bits that I want to do from that album.
Yeah.
And then I can work on new stuff if I want.
Yeah.
And I can also, because I'm not famous, go to the vault and do whatever the hell I want to do.
There you go.
From the old albums. But I do have, I have about 15 new minutes that it's probably 20 minutes long, but it's 15 new minutes. And, and so, but I have new premises and new stuff to work on. So that's great.
Yeah. I shot a special about a month ago and
nice.
Thanks. Yeah. And it's now, we're kind of talking about what to leave in and what to leave out and blah, 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 and all that jazz. But it's like, I've been on the road since, and I'm still fundamentally doing that hour and trying to work new stuff in. for the most part, but I don't want to be too lazy. I'm just like, let me just do this polished hour. One, because you want to write more, but two, I'm so tired of those jokes.
Yeah.
Like, so tired.
Yeah,
So,
I don't have a problem because stand-up has changed enough that it's okay to do the older stuff because people are psyched.
Yeah, true.
So as long as I'm still excited about the jokes,
Right,
I'll do them. But I'm always writing, and I don't write like I it's not Venus out of my head, I mean, it doesn't come fully formed another hour.
No.
I recorded it, leave it on the stage. Next time you come up, you got to start new. I don't care that. I mean, if there's comics who want to do that, that's fine.
Right.
It's sort of like, remember when you had there was this that British thing that Americans tried to do for a second, where they were like, got to write it, got to put out an album every year, got to write a new hour every year.
Sure.
And I was like, here's what I would like you to have spent 18 months on that joke. Because that joke's okay. It's a great premise. It's a good joke, but amazing. Imagine how great it would be in 6 more months of you working it. So
yeah.
So I can only do it the way I do it. Right.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm the exact same way. If I, maybe if I wouldn't have sprouted a wife and kid, I could have done that if all I did was like, the New York thing, 3 sets a night and stuff. But like,
sure.
I think after probably 4 solid months of that, I'd be just like, how does cyanide taste?
Right. What if I just throw it into the air around people I don't like and go with them?
Yeah, sure. Go together.
It's the great thing about a wife and a kid is that that's 20 new minutes a year that you can, you should be able to get out of it. I told my dad when this one came out, I was like, okay, you can't die. I need 20 more minutes for the next album, Dad.
Yeah.
Because I do about 15 or 20 minutes about my dad on every album.
He
was so funny. He was like, if it's more than 20 minutes, it's not your album. It's my album. It's one of my favorite lines.
That's great. Yeah, I mean, I always think about how suspect it is that so many of the comics I saw like in clubs were like, I mean, well, come on, you dads and husbands, you know how it is. We all want, and they say a thing, and it's no, I mean, you might as well say that about everyone. It's like whether you say, it's something, whatever visceral thing it is, whether it's
my pet peeve
or whatever, or lazy. But it's like the only thing that dads share is like fear and a connection to this thing that a love we've never known, which isn't funny. That isn't really fun. The fear can be, but it's like anytime it's just like someone's like, men are all the same, women are all the same. Like, there are similarities, but that's a real.
No, you have to make all of it very, very personal. And my thing is, Armenians do it and Irish do it. Like both sides of my family is like, well, we're on Irish time. No, what you are is you're inconsiderate. Is you're late. You're late. Stop saying that it's black time or Italian time or Jewish time or Armenian time. You're killing me.
Bill O'Reilly, everyone's favorite, used to drive me fucking nuts, and I didn't even watch him, but how he'd be like, yeah, I mean, look, come on, look. Like after he said something terrible or something happened, look, hey, I'm just a big Irish guy with an Irish temper. It's like, you're not. You're American.
Yeah.
You're American. You're not Irish.
And have you met big Irish guys?
I'm descended from Irish people. I'm not Irish.
No.
Anyone, like, we love it. White people who are Irish are like, look, well, I'm Irish. We go to Ireland, they're like, you're not. And I probably butchered the accent, but it's like they don't think of us as Irish because we're not.
You're not.
That's the country.
And when you go over there, you're going to meet all the different kinds of people.
Yeah.
There's going to be a big guy who's a teddy bear and isn't anything like Bill O'Reilly.
And he doesn't drink or punch people when he's angry.
Yeah, he's just an adult human being. Look at that. It's very Irish. Look how responsible this young man is.
Yeah. Doesn't lose his shit and cause mass hysteria for profit. I mean, just maybe, or sexually harass. The list goes on and on.
Right. You can't just take a joke. Well, I'm Italian. And you're like, well, I don't.
Well,
You know what you really are is irritating me.
you're,
But okay, feel free to write a punch
please.
over here. But I'm just Grandma Kashian. I'm just an old lady bitching about. No, I'm kidding.
Look, I'm sorry that I crashed your car. I'm Mesopotamian.
Right.
I traced it way back, and yeah, that they evidently every vehicle they had, it was a wheel that you sat
on the
top of.
opposite side. I do love this premise. I don't get a lot of my self-esteem from, and then you talk about what a shitty driver you are, or how you have no sense of direction. I like that. That's fine by me. I was like, I don't get a lot of my self-esteem by being a good cook. I'm willing to eat out.
That's
And
a
you're
good
like,
frame.
okay, that's an okay premise. I don't mind.
It is. Yeah, that's a that's a good and true framing mechanism for sure.
If you're gonna have to frame it, try to mix it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Because we're all working on kind of the same bits here.
Yes, absolutely. 100%. Do you, I always ask people on the show, do you get asked advice?
Yeah.
Okay.
All day, every day. I wrote that bit. My dad said, never say no without a number. I get more financial advice. I was like, that I'm not. Like, I know that some people think that I'm wildly successful, and I know that I'm very happy with my career.
Mm-hmm.
But there are people that are much more successful and are better. And we all have 9 jobs, right?
Right.
We all have 9 jobs. I'm good at any given Sunday. I'm good at 2 or 3 of them.
Yeah.
And the other 5 get left on the wayside this one day. I have burned bridges in the last month and a half that I was like, I wasn't good at the legal part today. I'm so sorry. I wasn't good at the self-promotion part. I offended you. I'm so sorry.
Right.
So, but I get, a lot of comics, they email me, they're like, hey, I'm trying to work the road. And I'm like, you should totally do that. I can't actually. Me too.
Great.
And and I just got an email today asking me if a comic who is an amazing comic and has been doing it over 20 years. And she's like, should I accept this money from this fancy pants headliner? And I was like, I will not make that decision for you. I am sad that person has offered you this crummy money.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Well, it's sort of how we got into this conversation in the first
place. I misunderstood. I was like, wait, this person feels guilt about accepting too much money or
too little.
But then I was like, was the money for something like bad? Like they're stealing this person's
It's
joke?
blood money. It's blood money. It was actually
then take it.
Yeah,
that's fine.
If it came from a slush fund from hits, yeah, that's okay. Don't worry about it.
It's okay. No, yeah. Oh,
she's Italian. What?
That's so. Oh God, the things that I've definitely been guilty of, like, not giving someone enough, like just not even thinking about it, or whatever here and there. And if you're a comic who I did this to, reach out. I will send you money. I like Venmo you. But
the thing is, we've all.
I try to be, and like I'm not playing gigantoid places, so like. But I've heard more times than I like. Obviously once is too much, but more than a few, about people who are just like still tossing the typical scraps when you were just doing scraps.
Yeah, the thing is, just turn around and help somebody. If you've made it, and you admire their work. If you do not admire their work or where they're coming or how they're coming up, you don't have to help them at all.
Yeah.
Right? But if you admire them enough to ask them to work with you, and you've asked them.
Yes.
Because you want to hang out with them. Oh my God. Share what you have. It's not that big of a deal. It's
100%.
not going to cost you anything. Anyway. But yes, people ask me a lot of advice. Never about clothes, Matt. Never about fashion. It's not.
Yeah, but like, you probably get some really interesting stuff. Like, what's a good sci-fi starter novel? I want to get into the genre.
Oh, that's my favorite. Is they're like, what should I read? I'm like, ooh, what do you like? What do you like? And then I can kind of pick, because I read a bunch of different mediocre genres and excellent genres, including nonfiction. I can hook you up.
Nice. See, that's great. So
how Josh Gondelman does that pep talk kind of
Yes,
10 minutes of pep talk.
Uh-huh.
I will occasionally on Twitter do a 10 minutes of what kind of books do you need? Anybody need a suggestion?
That's great. That's great. Yeah. I mean, because everyone kind of does at least once in their life if they are any kind of reader, for sure. You know.
And I'm a meddler by nature. I
Okay.
am literally, I'm in your business.
Perfect. Oh my God. I already knew you're a perfect guest. Now you're a doubly perfect guest. I always ask people because sometimes it's people get asked a lot, sometimes none. I had Jared Goldstein on last week, who is a young, very funny dude, but kind of like he revealed to me he doesn't like podcasts where people call in. And it was like, he was like, but he likes me. And he was like, but I'm glad to be on here. But it was such a funny, like, so you remember he's like, oh, I hate giving advice and stuff. I was like, oh, great, perfect. Let's roll with it. I don't care. You know,
Right.
This is for fun. Like he kept, when people were done with the call, he kept just going, well, you can follow me on, like he would just go to that right there, you know, and make it about.
Well, and you do the disclaimer in the beginning where you're like, if you need actual help,
Yes.
find a professional.
Yeah. Because that's the might in the name of this show. Is the reason why the fans are called the Mighties, because it's like we might, I don't know, we'll see.
Good work.
Which I think is a lot of us. So that said, I don't listen to the calls ahead of time. We got 3 calls. That's all we ever do. We might have gotten more. I don't know, but like Renee picks the faves, so he's the only one who hears them. And then he just plays them. So if you're ready, we'll roll the first call.
Love it.
Let's do it.
Dude, you're the best. Plantains or banana chips? Which is the best one? All right, thanks.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I like that we started heavy. This is
really deep and dark. So
I think they're both greasy. So what do you like, plantain chips or banana chips? Is that what he's saying?
yes. I would say it depends on the terroir, as the wine people say. It depends on
the
where you are.
entree.
Plantain chips in, say, a Caribbean restaurant, exceptional. Plantain chips in Smelly White Guy's co-op health food store, probably not as great.
Banana chip then. Yeah,
Banana
you're right.
chip.
Health food
For
store
him,
banana chip.
Maybe. Yes.
Cuban
And I'm
restaurant, plantain chip.
I like a banana, maybe some really good banana cream pie. I'm not, my wife, that's her all-time favorite flavor. It is beyond not my favorite flavor.
I love a banana bread, but
I love a banana bread.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. Yes, of your because of its consistency, I would say, I'm about to say of your fruit breads, but there aren't any.
But there's zucchini bread, banana bread, and
Yes.
maybe a carrot bread, carrot cake. That's a cake.
Carrot
Never
cake,
mind.
but still, yeah, zucchini bread and zucchini bread and banana bread are great because they're fantastic lies, like trail mix that we tell ourselves. Like, I'll have this with a cup of coffee. This is just like a nice slice of dry wheat toast I'm enjoying. It's a morning. This is not cake, and it really is.
Yeah, it is.
And that's what's
it
so
really
great.
is.
That's
Yeah.
what's so great about it.
I like to get an egg white omelet and then at the Magnolia Grill and then ruin it with and then definitely the banana bread. Thanks. And
Yeah, Jonah Ray likes to get a veggie burger with bacon on it. Back when he used to eat meat. I was
the
like,
living lie. Nice work.
Yeah, that was, I don't know. It's a bridge too far for me, But
Well, I do like a black bean. I like a veggie burger sometimes. And if you
Sure.
put bacon on it, I bet you it's nice.
That's true. That's true.
Because it's just a black bean patty then with bacon. And I'm like, I would eat that.
That's a good point. Yeah. So yeah, to me, my answer for this one is depends where you're getting it. But if gun to my head, I'm going plantain chips. But like I like the savory. I don't really want sweet banana. I don't really like dried fruit. I don't. I'm not a fan. I'd rather just eat fruit. I don't.
What do you think about fruit with meat? I don't like it.
Yeah, it really depends. If you've got a chutney with a ham, maybe. But yeah, for the most part, fruit with meat, yes or no. I'll go no. I'll definitely go no.
Yeah, if you're willing to do a pineapple or a chutney with a ham, I can't do that. The only one I can do, weirdly enough, is I think it's an apricot chicken with couscous.
Oh,
If it's a Moroccan thing for some reason, it's
Sure.
never too sweet. But sometimes fruit is too sweet on a meat, and I'm just like, no, I was hoping to eat a piece of meat.
yes. And you're also going to like the point I was making before, culturally traditional dishes, and you're like, oh, this has been going on for millennia.
Yes.
I will eat this. It sounds weird, but I'm going to eat it. Versus Karen cooked something she thought she'd try. Nope. I'm not going to eat your apricot chicken.
Yeah, I bet you make an amazing savory chicken. Why don't you make that? Yeah.
Probably great. Yes. So that's are you going banana or plantain for just chips?
Oh, plantain.
Yep, agreed.
Plantain.
Okay. So that one's solved. All right. Hope that helps, and also thanks for getting right to the point, caller. I really dig that. I've had a few people
Some long ones?
Yeah. Oh, yes. Like you wouldn't believe. And people are getting better. Absolutely. But it's, if you just have something silly, I had one last week that was very funny about, God, this woman was just like, my husband and I are big fans and blah, blah, blah. And she got into a fake scenario that sounded real. And she's like, so I just want to ask, has your wife ever pegged you? Thanks. And I was like, what the, like, did not see that coming. Really incredible.
Oh, that was very much a buggy ride that ended
really,
with a straight to the butt.
Yes, with a special ending in the end. So yeah.
I also do Zoom mime. So if anyone needs any of that, anyway.
Oh, no, that's great. Good job.
Thanks.
One of the stupidest things I used to do, sometime, like every once in a while, just at an audition where you'll see people reading the lines and they're like, you see them emoting a little, like if they're supposed to yell, they're like, or whatever, like mouthing the words. And I would just I would do fake object work, like I'm cooking while I'm doing the lines or something, and I see a guy out of his corner of his eye, I'd be like, are we supposed to be frying eggs? What's he doing? Don't really do it anymore, but it was just like, it was a way to pass the time.
I have a new bit where I talk about my brother fishing, and I did the fishing thing, and a guy came up to me after the show and he was like, that was a really good fishing sound effect, but that isn't fly fishing. That's more of a bass. And I was like,
fly, you whip. Yeah.
So I've literally changed it from zzz to which
Sure.
I don't know.
Sure.
But I was like, I can try. I like the idea of me doing some sound effect at all.
Yeah. I like that. And it does beat if you were like, he's running the street and a gun went off, bap, bap, and the guy's like, you actually made a larger caliber noise. Sounds like what that kind of person would have.
Right.
Like
I was
like a Sig Hauer. And you're like, would you listen? Like, it doesn't matter. But there's a big difference between,
Yeah, my dad liked it in the last album. So I tell this story about how my dad likes cement trucks.
Okay.
Because they spin. And a guy came up to me and he was like, well, it's really a concrete mixer. And I was like, I'll make a note.
Yes, for sure.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. People have heard me say this, but I had a bit about my dad. He used to do this thing where he'd drive and pick up a bunch of old ladies and take them shopping. And I was like in a big van. And my dad's like, it was a car. I'm like, I don't care, Dad. I don't care. I'm not doing it different now. It was a van.
Right. Yeah. I tell a story that I know that my father doesn't get any. He cannot curate any of the bits about him before publishing.
No.
And afterwards he'll just correct me and go, well, that guy came to the house instead of called. And I was like, yeah, can't possibly affect. It's already.
Don't care.
No notes at this point.
We've shot the movie. Okay.
Right.
Norman Mailer.
Yeah.
We shot it.
We're not recutting it.
Nope.
Yeah.
It's in the can. There's no budget. So, okay. Plantain chips it is. Caller number 2.
Hey, this is Jason Leonard from Lafayette, Louisiana, and I want to know what's so wrong with transition lenses, and if you don't wear glasses, is it okay to still wear transition lenses? That's just a nice buffer to always have sunglasses on. That's it. Love you. Hey, this is
it was almost like he was calling his dad. Love you.
Do you know JP?
No. Wait, I have met him. Yes.
Yes. He's a booker / comedian or comedian / booker.
I keep meaning to work those gigs and keep not
Yeah.
doing them. So, but they're supposed to be great. Yeah.
They're great. They're great. He's like a guy who books these great shows, and I'm coming out. Oh God, when is it? Next year, but I forget the month. To going to Houston, Lafayette, and New Orleans. So anyway, he's great and a very funny guy. And yeah, what are your thoughts on transition lenses? Even if you don't need a prescription, I think it's an interesting idea.
It is an interesting idea to just wear glasses all the time that aren't sunglasses, but then when you go outside, they're sunglasses.
Yeah, yeah. I think to answer your question, Jason, it doesn't. There's nothing wrong with them.
No,
Transition. I don't. I know me. I don't love having glasses on my face, but I love having my eyes shielded from the glare. So I'm that guy who this morning I took Rose out for a walk because we had about an hour before she had to be at daycare, and it's about a 20-minute drive. So put in the stroller, walk the streets, drinking my coffee, sunglasses on. I took them off when I entered shade, back on when I went back in the sunlight. I'm that guy who just takes them on.
Yeah.
Puts them on, takes them off, puts them on, takes them off again and again and again because I just don't. It's a weird thing with me. So
for
I
years,
would not be that guy you're talking about.
Right.
Sorry.
And for 2 years, I had prescription lenses that were transitional, and they were a little annoying because of how they didn't transition fast enough back. They transitioned to sunglasses super quick, back not as quick.
Yes. That's what I remember from when my dad had them and was just like, like, because he can't see without his glasses. And it's like, just like, will not go back. And he's basically
you just got to wait. You're blind until they bring it back.
Mm-hmm.
These are some real, I don't know what I expected.
Yeah.
Question was, but these aren't life or death, and I kind of like it. I appreciate that the stakes are low.
To me, it's like a warm bath because you and I are probably jinxing it because number 3 might be a doozy. I've had, my father, who's always been awful to me, is dying. Should I visit him? And it's like,
I want to get an abortion. I live in Texas.
Oh God!
It's
no.
like, how do I? All right.
Yeah. I will say, we get one of those. I will start a GoFundMe.
We will all send you $100 to take a bus.
Yeah, you and I will do it together.
Yeah, it'll be great.
Spearhead this, but yeah, you're right. I mean, I've had some ones that I'm like, and especially during the pandemic's still going, but a lot of us are super vaxxed, so we feel a little bit more settled and relaxed and things like that. Still being careful. That said, back before the vaccinations were rolled out, I got some calls that were wow. It's just like
heavy.
And like a lot of it was just like, you need to get out of your head. It's a bad neighborhood, please. Because we all do that. We're just like, I've been in touch with sadness I haven't known for years, kind of thing, and and what do I do? I don't have answers. I really don't have.
No, you can ask what you do. Like, what do you do when because we all get depressed and we all get sort of in our thinking, oh man, I can't fix this. And you're like, well, I am not a scientist and neither are you. Right. So all you can do is try to do the next indicated action, right? Yeah. Just try to help somebody in front of you because it will get you out of your head.
Yes. And just, power through, but admit that it hurts. I mean, that just helps so much when you're like, even when I'm, hitting a wall of being mildly depressed and down on myself or whatever. And I just, it helps just be like, well, I feel sad. I just, even if I say it out loud, it makes me feel better.
Yeah. You bleed it off. You gotta, Marin used to have this bit about how he had his backup friend. Cause sometimes he unloads to the one friend and he's like, I got a backup friend because that guy, the first guy can't take all of it all the time.
That's such a perfect Marin bit too.
Yeah. Yeah. Because it's based entirely in fact.
Oh, 100%. And more successful than he ever thought he would ever be. Probably still miserable. Like the nicest guy, friend of friends and stuff, but just and
slightly and flawed and just as human as he's ever been, and but trying, always
Yes.
trying. And that's what I like about Marin.
100%. And
Yeah.
after all he's been through, and you do hit that thing where we all do, where it's like, how do I keep going? Why?
Right.
I remember in college talking to friends who were in like philosophy class, and they're like, we spent the whole class talking about why we even get out of bed, and shit, I don't even know if I know why. And it's
right.
that's life.
Yeah. It's not, try to lower the stakes. It's going to be, like the things I'm grateful for. I like to start real basic, right?
Yes.
I live indoors, right?
Yep. Oh my God. Yes.
It's huge, right? And when I take, we got a new tiny dog, and we got my first ever dog friend. And I take him for walks, and I try to notice. I try not to be on the phone, try to be with the dog, try to be with the sky,
Yes. Right.
And because it will make me feel better. Because if I'm on the phone, I'm on the phone. I'm on the
yeah.
phone.
Oh yeah.
So,
And don't let anything online affect you too much. It's even news. Something, maybe things like that, but just
what I like?
Anything on Twitter that someone wrote, anything on Instagram that someone is doing, good or bad.
YouTube comments, don't sweat them.
Oh no, don't even go down that alley. No.
Right. No. I've always wanted my news very Pony Express, 2 weeks late with a lot of analysis, because then I can't do anything about it. The only thing I can do, like if somebody has a car accident in front of me, I can help. If someone has a car accident in New Jersey, I cannot help.
Cannot help you. Yeah.
So to me, that can't be I could hear about it later.
Right.
Because for the love of God, I cannot do anything about it.
No, you can't. So,
but I can help that. A guy walked by me actually last night. Came out of Andy and I went out to dinner. We come out of the restaurant. Andy's doing something with the car. He's got to pull it forward or something. Guy walks by me, and he doesn't look anything like he just looks like a normal guy.
Okay.
Except for I didn't like the tone of his voice when he said, "Hey, can I borrow your phone to make a phone call to get picked up?" And I was like, "No." And because it just literally the vibe I got off the dude was, no, that guy wants to steal my phone. And so I don't, if it would have been, and there's a restaurant 2 feet away that they will let you borrow a phone.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it'll be fine because you're right. So, but I if I can help and I don't get a weird, creepy vibe, because I would never, what was it? Oh, so I have that thing. I was talking to somebody yesterday. So my dad has this saying, never say no without a number. And people are taking it super literally. And I'm like, no, if someone says, will you blow me for $100? You don't have to negotiate with them. No. It's not never. It's sure. If it's something you want to do, don't say no without asking for like that you're willing to do. But like somebody was telling me that it was Kilmartin. Somebody offered her a gig in Malibu in a living room on Thanksgiving Day, no amplification system.
Oh,
right. And she said, "What should I ask for?" And I said, $12,000 in a town car.
Yep.
Because then you'll be okay doing it.
Yeah. Pardo evidently officiated a bunch of weddings, and he just never dug it because you're just on call. I've done it for friends. I've never done it for a stranger. I don't know if I would. But he's like, he told me the last time he did it, like some people were like, we're such fans. And he's like, well, and he's just like, I threw out a ridiculous number to let them down easy. And they took it without even looking at each other. Right. And it's like, well, hell, now I've just made a big
pile of money
to do this thing I don't love, but F it.
But I don't hate it. Right?
No.
It's not, and it isn't something criminal. It isn't something gross.
I'm
it's
not
something
compromised.
That you would do it normally if it were easier or more fun sounding.
And if you'd done less than 7 or however many he'd done.
Right. If it's hard or it sounds less than, but if it sounds less than fun than what you would do for less money, ask for the money. Because then you don't have to do it, or you make a pile of money doing something that you don't hate. Yeah. So, but I was like, it's not everything.
No.
People, they don't get to say, hey, will you murder somebody for me? I'll never say no without a number.
You're right.
And don't be ridiculous.
Yeah. Some things are non-negotiable. They're not happening.
Yeah.
Okay. So are you ready for our third and final call?
I am.
All right. Let's roll it.
Oh, hey there. Not sure how much time I'll have, so I'll try to keep this brief, but basically tried out Whole Foods, Amazon grocery delivery recently, and a pretty smooth experience. And then the third time that we tried it, half of the order was missing, so that wasn't great. Basically from there, dealing with the Amazon customer service and all that, and the Whole Foods customer service. And, then we left for New York City and left all the food here, obviously, and in the fridge and in the pantry. That's neither here nor there, but in New York City, I come across Wholesome Foods Market, and this is different than the Whole Foods Market.
Upper West Side,
that we have here in California. So Wholesome Foods Market was, like a little corner store type market. So I guess what I'm trying to figure out is, do I need to go to, should I fly from California to New York City and shop at the Wholesome Foods Market, or should I continue to try the Whole Foods California Amazon delivery? Thanks a lot.
If someone offers this guy $150 to blow somebody, does he have to take it?
Yes, he has to. And he has to fly there on his own dime.
Right.
Yeah. What's stopping you from going to the Whole Foods in LA when you went to the Wholesome Foods in New York? You walked in. You did not call Wholesome Foods and say, "Deliver to me."
Amazon, I'd like you to ship from Wholesome Foods.
I'm too high to get off the floor, but I'm now in New York. Wholesome Foods, do you deliver?
Wholesome Foods, Broadway and 90th, maybe?
I love that you knew what it was, because it's like I didn't doubt that part was real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's because when Whole Foods was invented, I was like, wait, did that thing blow up? And it did not. It did not. It is it is a family-owned hippie grocery store.
Sure.
In the Upper West Side. But during lockdown, I would get deliveries from Whole Foods, and they would occasionally make I'd be like, I would like some lamb stew meat, and then they would bring me chops or a leg, and I would call up and I'd be like, you should have just not brought me. And they're like, well, you get to keep that meat.
And the upgrade on that
was huge.
Yeah. I was laughing because half is so insane.
Half is crazy.
That's like a mailman who just takes the fifth mailbag every day and throws it in the trash.
Right. It's too much.
4. I've told them I'll do 4. That's it. And they're like, we've told you don't set limits.
It's a job. Every day with the job.
You can't. That's why we have a truck for you. You're not carrying the bag. But half is insane. I've had 1 or 2 things go missing, and it's like I get a text on my phone that says, "Will you substitute? There's the wrong kind of tomato."
Yep.
It's crazy meticulous. So it's the crux of his story is they left half of my stuff off and screw them, and I get that, but it's a comical amount of non-delivered.
Yeah, that's a lot. A half is too. It's weight without any sort of. No, we're still charging you. We're just not bringing you any of these rice or this canned tomatoes, or we're just. It's too heavy. We're not bringing it.
It's like I ordered ramen or pho, and they were like, just the noodles. You're like, what? These are dry, uncooked. Yeah,
Can you hear the fact that I live in Hanoi in 1974? Can you hear the helicopters? Anyway, so okay.
For sure.
Just so everyone knows.
Yeah. I mean, I don't. Yeah. And there were so many of those nature stores when I was a kid. There's actually one called Nature's in Portland. Yeah. And like,
well, you grew up in Portlandia, didn't you? Didn't you grow up in Portland?
I did. Yeah, but there were all these stores where like we were talking about carrot cake. I hated carrot cake when I was a kid. Carrot cake is delicious, but I hated it because it's all anyone served, and I was just like, screw you and your vegetable cake. I want chocolate, and then when you say you want chocolate, they give me carob.
Oh, carob! That is just a slap right in the face.
I've never. It was, speaking of which, yeah, it felt like one of my parents slapped me because they lost the track or something. But this isn't like, it was such a betrayal flavor wise when I just tried it.
It is, like, yeah, it was. You know what's interesting is when because I grew up essentially inside a microwave, because there was no natural. We when my sister moved out, she was like, I'm never like when we gathered. After she had moved out, she turned 18. She literally, and but the next time I got with her, she was like, we were hanging out, and I was 16. She was 18. She goes, "I'm never eating margarine again."
Yeah,
it's butter.
Don't.
It's butter.
So much worse for you than butter.
It's so gross, and so she kind of introduced me to like normal natural foods. Yeah. And my grandmother would only make natural foods and had a beautiful garden. But when my stepmother was like, we're just eating. I just have to feed a lot of you. So just eat this and get off my areola, which is a Janelle Monáe line. Anyway, so, and then I moved to Minneapolis. Well, no, I went to college in Madison, and there was hippies. Madison, Wisconsin, full of co-ops. And then I moved to Minneapolis, full of co-ops. Mm-hmm. And I think, it was Madison that the cook at the co-op that I lived in sort of it was a hippie dorm, right? It was called a co-op. Sure. The cook made almost everything with bell peppers for years.
Wow.
I couldn't eat bell peppers because it was just too much. And she's like, they're so great. They're sweet, but they're also safe. And I was like, they're not in everything.
No, and they're not. They're hard to cook well. I don't love cooked bell peppers. I love them chopped on salads and things like that. I'll just eat them
in moderation.
That's nice, sure, but it's not in every dish vegetable.
They take over every dish. If you use them, you have to use them so sparingly.
Yes.
They're very
and that
powerful.
Mushy consistency. When they're cooked, I don't love. I just don't love.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah. So, wow.
This guy, all right, guy.
This we did it. Let's talk. Let's promote your special.
Okay. So, my name is Jackie Kashian, and I have a special and a new album out called Stay-Kashian, named it that because, of course, of the lockdown and hoping that people would pronounce my last name right. The other day, introduced Jackie has a new album out, Stay-Kashian. Please welcome Jackie Kashian. Yes. And you're like, you dropped the ball. Yeah, picked it up anyway. Okay, good for you.
My very first podcast was called Ding Donger with Matt Braunger, and I called it that because everyone just says it wrong. Yeah. But yes.
And it's everywhere. It's on all the things for free for streaming. Nice. You can download it for monies, and you can watch the special for free on 800 Pound Gorilla's YouTube channel. Nice. So if you YouTube Google the word Stay-Kashian, or just, and Kashian is spelled Kashian, and it's at Jackie Kashian on everything. So thanks a lot.
Yes, I will be checking it out. Fellow Mighties, you definitely should too. Jackie is one of the most fun people to watch on stage and a gem. And I really appreciate you coming on, pal. Thank you so much. Good times. Thanks for listening and or watching, Mighties. As always, if you need advice, want to call in, got any weird questions, don't hesitate. Call, leave a message at 323-763-0228. Again, 323-763-0228. And I thank you. This Might Help with Matt Braunger was created and hosted by me, Matt Braunger. Produced by Outer Circle Media. Executive producers Matt Kleinschmidt and Robert Kelly for the Laugh Button Podcasts.